Hello and welcome to the CSN3M podcast. Case Specific Nutrition is excited to offer this as an additional media source for our clients and other listeners. The 3 M's, for those of you who are just listening to us, stands for mindsets, myth busting, and mentoring. The plan with this podcast is that each week we will be offering some sort of mindset or myth bust or some sort of mentoring to our audience as that pertains to health and wellness. So we plan to post these each week. They're meant to be short sound bites that can really get you framing and thinking about your health in a positive way each week. We're going to work on releasing them every Monday, so you will have your mentoring Mondays with CSN3M. So this is the first week of December, and that means we are past Thanksgiving and delving right into the holiday season. The month of December for pretty much all cultures in the United States is holiday season, whether it's work parties or birthdays or gatherings of some sort with friends, whether you celebrate Hanukkah or Christmas. This is a time of year that we tend to get together with people, spend a lot of time with others. And so I thought it was a perfect podcast to start the season and try and help everybody go at the holiday season with an attitude that allows them to enjoy themselves, look forward to the holidays, have fun, but also feel good on the other end of it. Because let's be real, most of us nowadays end up on the other side of the holidays just begging for a salad, exhausted by all the junk foods and the party foods and the heavy foods and the alcohol. And when you realize that you're indulging in treats so often that you don't want them anymore, that means that they've been overindulged, and we might have some good ideas about how to help balance that out for you. I actually just did a lunch and learn with this earlier last week and had a lot of fun talking with people. So I want to go over some of the key concepts that I talked through in some of our lunch and learns, as well as when I'm building my plans with my actual clientele. So my favorite key concept when I look at the holiday season is I ask my clients what their highlight reel is. And for those of you listening, the highlight reel is the key list of foods, whether it be desserts or other items, that you think of when you think of the holiday season. So imagine it's June and you're at the beach with your friends and you guys are reminiscing about the holiday season for some reason. What are the foods that come to your mind? What are your favorite things? Some people it's the stuffing at Thanksgiving. Some people it's ham. Some people it's certain cookies. But try and get as specific as possible. When you come up with your highlight reel, it shouldn't just be Christmas cookies. No, it should be whose Christmas cookies, which cookies. Oh, at my family Christmas, my Aunt Mildred makes these peanut butter chocolate chunk cookies that are just my favorite. We need to be as specific as possible. So take a couple minutes and write down your highlight reel. What are your favorite key things? And I know there's some of you that are saying, I like everything, and that's okay. We're going to get to that too. But for now, let's just start with our favorite key things. The reason that that's important is the highlight reel is a really, really fantastic opportunity for us to prioritize the stuff that matters and as a result, deprioritize the stuff that doesn't matter as much. There's a tendency subconsciously this time of year where we get into the holiday season and we think, well, it's the holidays, so let's go ahead and, it's the time where I enjoy my favorite things. And somehow that morphs into I say yes to everything for 40 days straight. And there's a big difference between your favorite things and the things that kind of pass through the weeks as we sort of go through these next few weeks. I know for me personally, some of my favorites are the pumpkin pie that I make at Thanksgiving, and then my grandmother makes a red velvet cake from scratch every year for my birthday, which is also in December. And those two things stand out to me immensely. And so I know going into this time of year, I'm going to enjoy fair servings of both. And as a result, I'm going to look forward to those. I'm not going to feel guilty about them, nor should I. But also, I'm going to more than likely pass on some other things, right? During Thanksgiving, I'm probably not going to eat the random cookies that someone brings because I'm going to be too excited for the pumpkin pie. The week of my birthday, I'm probably going to pass on a random cupcake or some, store-bought cake in favor of my grandmother's red velvet cake that she makes for me. And all that does is it allows me to truly enjoy those treats, right? I put those on the pedestal, enjoy those, look forward to them. And to a certain extent, it gives you the willpower to pass on stuff that doesn't matter. But it also helps you realize why those things don't matter. Is In the moment, spontaneously, when it's 3 o'clock and you're tired at work and there's a pile of cookies, they seem really tasty, but we all know that they're going to give you a big energy spike followed by an energy crash. They upset your stomach, they throw off your energy levels when you eat those things too often. And so we want to really save those types of foods for the special occasions that really matter, the things that are really worth it. So make a list of your highlight reel and make sure that you enjoy those things. And then more importantly, make sure you prioritize those things. Thanksgiving's always a good time to think about this, where if someone likes stuffing, I say, okay, well, why don't we eat less of the mashed potatoes or the sweet potatoes on the plate so that you can enjoy an extra helping of stuffing. And we can do the same thing at, a holiday party coming up for you, or Christmas Eve, or, a Hanukkah dinner, whatever holidays you're about to celebrate, what other gatherings or special gatherings you're about to have. If you know there's favorite things coming, those are a chance to prioritize those, and as a result, pass on some of the things that don't matter quite as much. I always call that the plight of the dinner roll, and it's in part because whenever we have these big family events and these big gatherings, there's this tendency to go in a buffet line, and it always starts with bread, and everyone takes the dinner roll and sets it on the plate, and then you start scooping this and scooping that, and by the end you're trying to figure out where you're going to set the dinner roll, and so you have to set it on top of this pile of food, and you realize at the end of the buffet line the dinner roll really wasn't something you needed, right? It was something you grabbed out of habit or out of convenience, but wasn't in itself a priority, and as a result you're left filling the plate with something that didn't really mean that much to you. So now for those of you who to my highlight reel said, well, I like everything, I just like the fact that it's the holidays. That's completely fine, and I love that mindset and attitude. It's great to be a foodie and be excited about a unique time of year with a lot of special dishes. But something that we want to keep in mind is that if you eat a lot of different things, that means there's more quantity than normal, and so there should be somewhat of a portion calibration. A popular method or sort of way of thinking about it is if you're at a big event that has a lot of plates, right? Everyone brought a dish and there's 23 options. You could do something called the 3-bite rule, which is serve yourself 3 bites of everything. Because the reality is 3 bites of everything is still going to make you adequately full, and it allows you to taste everything multiple times. So you're not just having 1 bite, you're having a few bites of it. Your tongue, taste receptors get saturated by it. You get to enjoy the flavor, but you set it up so that the plate is satisfying instead of so filling that you feel sick afterwards. There's nothing worse than feeling sick after a meal that you were enjoying. I always encourage my clients to look at the big picture, and one of the ways I have people do this is through our company's Rate My Day app. If you go into the Android or the Apple store, you can download Rate My Day, and it's a calendar app, and what it does is it asks you at the end of each day, whatever time you set the daily reminder, to to take a moment to reflect on the health of your day and rate the day as green, yellow, or red. And I always encourage people not to think of red as bad, but to think of red as special occasion or as different. Yellow is a treat, and so it's a little less often. And then green days are sort of our normal days. They're the days that we feel our best, we have our best energy, we feel satisfied, but we're not overly full, our meals are balanced. And it's not to say we should never have red days, it's just to say that we know when we have a lot of them, it means that we're feeling stuffed, we're feeling overfed, we're not feeling our best. So it's neat because this time of year in that app in particular, there's a projection feature. So you can actually go into the month of December, and if you pick a day ahead of time and rate the day as red, yellow, or green, it'll outline it instead of color it in so that you can go in and then you can see all of the dates, right? All the, the work party you have, the spouse's work party, the friend's party, that you get together, the night out drinking and dinner that you always do, the appetizers evening, the Christmas Eve tradition, the Christmas Day tradition, the New Year's Eve tradition, so on and so forth. So once you project out, you can see how many events there are. And this is important for a couple reasons. Just like with the highlight reel, if you know you have 6 or 7 events in the next 30 days, that tells us that we probably would be completely fine if the other days we just treat it as normal days, right? Why does December 10th have to be any different from September 10th, as an example? So what we can do is if we know there's 7 days that are a mix of fun and food and drinks and social, we can surround those days with normal days. And the reason that's beneficial is it sets it up so that instead of having this string of days that make you feel sick and make you crave sweets and make you feel nauseous and throw off your appetite and pack on the pounds, we can truly prioritize and put on a pedestal those days that have the social value with them, right? The parties that truly are beneficial to go to and to be a part of and to enjoy, surrounded by days that are just normal days where you're doing your normal things so that you have good energy and feel yourself. That balance is really important this time of year because it's going to set you up to enjoy the special occasions a lot more, but then also you'll still feel your normal great self a majority of the time. It also allows us to harp on this really key observation, which I can't tell you how many people over the years have said something to the extent of, well, Thanksgiving's here, so now the rest of the year is pretty much done for, right? It's this mindset that the holiday season is this giant streak of never-ending fun. And the reality is, typically this year Thanksgiving was a little closer to Christmas, but typically there's 5 to 6 weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And in that 5 to 6 week span, there are maybe 6 special occasions, maybe. And the reality is 6 times 7 days is 42 days. So 6 out of 42, that means there's still 36 days that are completely normal days. And sure, they might have some leftovers, and sure, they might have some little things, but there's no reason for them to have to be these gluttonous, overindulgent, large portions that make us stuffed, dessert for lunch and dinner every day type of days. There's plenty of opportunity to eat to feel good alongside eating for social and cultural enjoyment. So try and keep in mind that holiday season paradox, that there's really only 5 to 6 events over a 2-month span, and there's plenty of opportunity to do normal things. So this time of year doesn't have to be the end-all be-all. It's a really good time of year to play tug of war. Enjoy your fun, and then balance it out with your normal day-to-day routine. A lot of times people fall into what I call the slash tire paradox, which is they have one day or one meal that's pretty crazy, right? They treat themselves to some cookies or, whatever it is, and they go, well, I've already done that, so I might as well ... fill in the blank, right? Might as well continue eating more cookies, or this week's ruined, I might as well keep binging, or whatever it is. And the reality is that there's never a point at which we need to just give up on the idea of the balance of health. There's also never a point where we need to feel guilty or feel like we did something wrong by enjoying something. It's allowed to be a singular event. And if you enjoy that event and then move on, you're going to be much healthier because you're going to mentally enjoy the event, which is a healthy state of mind. And then you're physically going to get back to normal events. Taking Thanksgiving as an example, a lot of us probably had Thanksgiving Day where we ate and indulged a little more than normal, and then proceeded on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to eat desserts and cookies and pie and large portions of stuffing and mashed potatoes. It wasn't Thanksgiving Day that was the problem or the reason that we're feeling bloated on a Sunday evening or a Monday morning. In fact, it was the fact that we let Thanksgiving Day, the holiday, the singular day, become 4 days. So if we can go back to treating those singular fun events as singular fun events, we're good to go. And the reason I call this the slash tire paradox is that pass-fail mindset of, well, I already ruined this day, I might as well just make it worse, is the equivalent of driving down the highway, getting a flat tire, and then getting out of your car and slashing your other 3 tires. In what world would we ever do that, right? In what world would we ever have that extreme and unforgiving of a mindset? And it goes back to the fact that our culture has done a really good job of making us feel guilty for enjoying foods and enjoying sweets. And there's nothing guilty about that. There's nothing bad about that. Really, the key is how it balances out. And when you pile up your food at the end of the week, are those sweets and treats the majority of the pile, or are they the toppings that make the pile look more interesting? So let's try and avoid that slash tire mindset and recognize that whether it's one meal, one snack, or one day, there's never a point at which we say, oh, well, might as well keep going. It's not like alcoholism and smoking. This is food. It's caloric. There's an accumulation of them. And the more things we eat, the worse we tend to feel over time. And so we can try and balance it out. And even if you have a day or a meal that you look back on and go, man, I might have overdone it, the best way to counterbalance that is not by continuing to overeat, and it's also not by starving. It's by getting back to a normal routine that your body's familiar with and feels good about and feels comfortable with. Those are some of the big main concepts I like to make sure I preach with people. The last one is a much simpler one. It's to enjoy time with family, friends, and food in that order. So try and remember that this time of year is supposed to be a special time of year. I can't tell you how many people I see exhausted by the holidays. And exhaustion means extreme. It means that we're doing too much of things. And so whether that's too much eating, too much drinking, too much shopping, too much spending, whatever it is, too much of stuff, it kind of takes away the joy and the magical feelings that come from this time of year. So try and look ahead this year. Maybe pull up the Rate My Day app and take a look at what you have coming. Look forward to those special events. Keep plenty of room for normal, simple events. And most importantly, don't be afraid to go into those events, enjoying time with friends and family, and remembering that the food can be that bonus or that side piece to the time with friends and family. I hope this gives you some good, helpful mindsets going into a crazy month, and sets you up so that we can go into this new year feeling rejuvenated and energized by our social time as opposed to exhausted. If you want more mindsets or ideas, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at Case Specific Nutrition. You can reach out to us on social media at Case Specific Nutrition, Twitter at Case Specific PGH. You can email us at our website, casespecificnutrition.com. We are covered through insurance oftentimes, so don't hesitate to reach out and get your insurance checked and see what kind of coverage there is if you would like to schedule an appointment with us. We are here to help, and we wish you all very happy holidays.